Hey, it's Matthew Harvey here with the 12 o'clock siren, and on my left hand is James Harley.
Eating Vincenzo's uncured hot suppressata. It's good. And I got
cheese board furnished by my wife.
Thank you, Kevin.
That's Kevin.
Looks good.
I got Jason on my left, too.
I'm on your left.
Howdy,
I
Jason.
got some folks on my left, too.
Who do you got?
I got
Pass it
TK
around.
on my left. TK, who you got on your left?
I got Jamie.
Greetings,
Jamal.
Jamali.
The Jamali
We
corner.
got some of the whiskey boys still here, and they're going to do the recap with us.
Yeah.
I just don't
We're
want
gonna
to go
talk about
home.
things.
Y'all are trying to go.
Surprise.
Y'all are trying to go home, and I'm like, hey, y'all want to hang out all night?
We have different schedules than you do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
be
we're off
fair.
for 2
I
weeks.
think I woke up like an hour before we came home.
My job is not as cool.
No.
So
I set my alarm for noon today, too.
Hey, there we go.
Matthew is
Felt
more
good.
on you guys' schedule.
Yeah.
I sell
good.
technology. I have the least sexy job.
I had a
there
phone
is.
call. That's why I did it. I didn't have to wake up.
Who were you talking to? The
I
president?
I didn't have a phone call. I was just trying to make a joke.
I
Oh,
laughed.
man, that was a fun time, fellas. Thanks for coming in and
Dude,
doing
yeah,
this.
what a
and,
good
and joining us
episode.
for the recap. My God, we got was that a kick drum head?
Yeah.
A kick drum head.
Staged, used,
Custom
and broken.
stage used
Do you know
and
where?
broken.
Where was it used? Or where did it break, rather?
It broke at my house,
Oh,
but
man.
it was used from.
It's not good. Take
yeah.
it back.
Nah. I thought you were going to say, like, Keith Richards put a mic stand through it or something.
No. Keith
Does
didn't,
he do
but
that?
Mick did.
Oh, see? All
Mick,
right.
you ignorant slut. Can you say that?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you just did.
I don't know.
don't
I
know.
guess you can.
You were
Custom-
yelling.
Mark that.
Custom kick drum head. What was on it? I saw you wrote 12 o'clock siren. There's a little doodling.
Yeah, I'm just a
Who's the
doodle. I'm a
doodler?
doodle
You-
master,
doodler?
man. I say master. I'm terrible at it. I just doodle.
Do you follow the doodle guy on Instagram?
No, I probably should.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You'll
I'll
get
have
lost in his
Doing
videos.
it right now.
Yeah, it's I forget his
Speaking
name.
of
Doodle
doodles,
Master, Doodle something. He doodles like crazy, like professional
That's my
doodling.
brother.
See, I wish I knew more about like
pretty
social
good.
media because I'm not an internet or
This is one of the few
guy.
I found that is pretty interesting and worth. I mean, you might look at it for 5 minutes and then go, all right.
I've noticed that like
next.
I'll post like I've started doodling because I used to doodle like in high school. That was my thing. My art teacher just let me doodle cartoons. They believed in what I was doing, and I quit. I quit after high school. I didn't draw anything for a long time, and just recently I started picking up drawing again. Like I was drawing snare heads and like sell them at the merch booth, and I'm like, man, this is a really crappy drawing, but somebody's buying the crap out of this
Yeah.
stuff.
Dude,
Hey.
speaking of doodles, I went to a wedding on Sunday, and my brother was there, and he had his son who's like 3.5 years old, Grady. And Grady wanted us to draw some pictures with these crayons that they handed out for the kids at this wedding. So I doodled a picture of my brother. Here's my brother.
Oh yeah, I know
Kenny.
Kenneth.
Oh yeah,
Here's my
man.
brother Kenneth.
Yeah.
All right, check out this doodle I did of Kenneth.
Hey man, that's cool.
That's not bad.
That's cool.
That's not bad.
Yeah, well, that's me right there, Uncle Jamin. Grady calls me Jamin instead of Jason, so he drew a picture of me that was like outlandish and like all caricature. Everything was way overly.
We talked about that last podcast.
Yeah.
This is the one I just did. This
me
is the most
see.
recent one I did. Tone.
No,
yeah,
nice.
dude, wow, that's really good.
That's my.
I know it's really. I mean, I did it in like just
nice.
a couple minutes. Tone was like, "Hey, draw me like one
yeah,
of your French girls."
we had like timers set. We had
me
like
like
3
one of your
minutes
French
with a
girls.
crayon to draw a picture of each other.
That's my
I love that
Instagram
line out of
profile
context.
picture right now.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, Tony, that video on your Instagram of you on the catwalk, wherever that was, that is one of the most rock star moments of anybody I know.
I was proud.
It
Yeah,
is
I was
pretty
proud.
cool.
Can I say it's because of the attitude?
It's
Yeah.
the attitude.
Yeah.
It's the attitude.
I don't
And
know what it
I
meant to you,
I
but
was
it meant a
wearing
lot to us.
Adidas at the time.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was like, I played wall ball with that
They
guy.
say to own the
that
stage.
meant a lot. We all made it when you did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
You're out on Mick's
there was
catwalk.
there was a Leonard Texas cheer had at that, man.
Yeah.
I'll
Did
be
you
honest.
see how I threw the cowbell
I
behind
did.
me?
Yes, not to lose it.
Get this away from
I
me.
noticed
like-
that.
That's a big drop the mic moment.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool, man.
That was super
And I'm
cool.
sure as soon as he threw it, he was like, "Oh God, I need that."
Yeah,
yeah.
I gotta have that
It
one.
was
Yeah.
coming out of my per diem.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were
they're
stoked
like
for you.
$50.
Matthew, what's up? What have we got coming up?
We have Halloween on the Square on Thursday.
Oh.
Next Thursday,
A week from today, 5 to 7, up here on the Leonard Square. I believe it's going to be on the north side of the square. There's 35 or so businesses, maybe more than that by now. That was a couple weeks ago. That'll be giving out candy. There's going to be a petting zoo, a taco truck, weather permitting, actually.
Oh, man.
I believe the FFA is taking care of that.
I want to.
There's
On
a
a taco truck.
Oh, what
I
kind
feel
of
like I'm
animal?
missing something out.
Well,
I hope there's
Or
a
missing
hippo.
out
I
on
think
something.
I don't.
You know, I love them, man.
you know,
They're my
there's
favorite.
3 hosts of the 12 o'clock siren, but you might be sowing the seeds of democracy in.
I
in
might
Hong
get
Kong.
stuck in Hong Kong if
Yeah.
I don't if I make it back.
Are you
I'll
running
I'll
guns over there?
No.
No.
Maybe we
Not
could get one of
speak
the
like that.
whiskey boys to step in your.
Hey, I'm
that
down.
might happen.
Jamie's going to Terlingua, but I'll be around.
You going to Chili Fest?
Wow.
Man, one of my really, really close friends, his family puts it on. The Ryans, they own Tolbert's and Grapevine, and his grandfather Frank Tolbert was a you know about it.
We discussed the Chili Fest and the Blue Bonnet Meat.
Come on, dude!
episode.
I'm telling you,
Matthew-
if you've never been, it is a spiritual
Yeah,
experience.
we've been
I used to
discussing
play
going.
with John David Kent. We
Sure.
played out there, and I haven't been in a long time. And it just so happens we have these 2 weeks off, and one of my good friends he's driving down just for a few days. Which, if he was going for much longer, I wouldn't go.
Sure.
But it is if you ever get the chance
Well,
to go, man.
let me
just
tell you.
We
is.
talked about entering a recipe and
Oh,
and
come
actually
on!
going.
I was a
So-
judge a couple years.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, so Matthew and I, we've talked for a while now about we want to go down to Terlingua. I like that area. We've talked about now with the 12 o'clock siren in our podcast. We have a YouTube channel, and have you ever seen the show on? It comes on like local channels here in Texas, Texas Country Reporter.
Yeah.
Well, so we've had the idea of doing stuff like that guy does, but maybe a little bit more geared to our generation. And Terlingua keeps coming up. I would love to go down there, do a little webisode of Chili Fest.
I'm
You know,
telling you right
It's-
now, if you go,
yeah.
like, go ahead and dedicate that week for the rest of your life,
Really?
that time of year, because it's something every single year I try to go. I want to go to. It doesn't always
Yeah.
work out with your
Life
schedule
happens.
and stuff. But it is like the first time I went, it was a spiritual experience, and
Cool.
it's like you don't want to leave. I mean, well, no, actually, that's why it's beautiful because you can go home because
right? Yeah.
you don't want to.
Sometimes it's time to leave.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah,
it
but,
is. It
Like
is.
John bought land out there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, JDK.
Wow.
I think he owns
What?
some land out there. Yeah,
What?
I mean, because that's how big of it's important.
Wow.
That place is really cool, man.
Is he still doing his vegan thing?
Off and on.
I think
Well, it's a hard thing to keep. You know, I did it for a little bit.
I think,
times
I
of the
think he
year.
tries.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he aspires to.
Yeah.
Certain times of the year.
Yeah.
He does cleanses
Don't
a
be a
lot
vegan
too, right?
Oh,
going
yeah.
out to a chili cook-off, man.
No.
Try that. I was a judge for like a couple years.
Yeah, I think you and John were both judges.
Man.
It's like,
How was your gastro situation after
I'm
that?
good. I handle
You handle it
spice.
good?
I like
Oh, I do
spice.
too.
Yeah,
I do too.
How old are you?
32.
32.
I think
Okay.
You're still
31,
young.
32.
Wait till 35. You won't
Yeah.
be. Doing,
Yeah.
You won't do spicy before
I'm
lunch. I know that.
I'm learning every year. My body is just
It's
degrading.
fails you.
Yeah.
It just fails you all the time.
I actually had fall at the Brick Lane Curry House in Manhattan, which was the hottest dish in the world at the time I had it, and it was wretched.
Tony knows all about that.
yeah, I'm all about the curry.
So do y'all ever go to like Gramercy Park area in Manhattan? That's they call it. It's Murray
Curry
Hill.
Hill.
They call it
I've
Curry
been there
Hill.
before.
Man.
We usually eat curry when we're in London. Though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
It's
That's like
it's
Mexican
a
food here, right?
national- Yeah.
It's the only thing with flavor.
Yeah. That's okay. That's you can say
We
that.
had good Mexican food in London.
What? Shut your
That was a
mouth.
shock. That was
I
a
don't know.
shock. Hey, no, we did. And it was a shock.
Oh man, wrong
Wrong
button.
button.
Oh no, do the other one.
We missed an opportunity there.
I should have done something else.
What were
That's
you
all
gonna
right.
do? Symphony
it's
stuff?
It's
No.
a new one too.
Oh, you got a new one?
No, we're still going.
Jeez. What the booze? the
It would have
unhappy
been
crowd.
perfect. It would have been perfect.
I mean, it's never as good as Tex-Mex, but it was
Sure.
okay.
All right. Well, and you were in London, so the
Yeah,
bar
I
set
didn't
low.
expect to see a Tex-Mex place at all, and then to be okay,
You're like sopapillas. What?
and then have 60 Coronas on top of that.
Yeah, it's all good after that.
Yeah. No, we really want to go to Terlingua. I'm a huge fan
next
of
year,
Southwest Texas.
let's put that on
Let's
our
do it.
sites for next year.
Yeah.
Let me know, man. I mean, because like I said, one of my really really close friends, his family puts it on. And
Is there
like,
a
if y'all
media
wanna-
section or
Y'all
something?
should
Well,
do-
no,
can-
that's what I was gonna say. That'd be really cool if you guys could set up out there
Why
and do
not?
something.
Can we get like a credential? Like a media
Oh,
credential?
yeah, dude.
I just
I
want
don't
to
know
land
how
your-
big
Oh, yeah,
There's not many credentials to be had out
I
there.
don't
It's
know
a
how big
free
they
for
are.
all.
What do
Yeah.
you need to be legitimate for like
Whiskey
Media?
Myers on your podcast?
yeah, well, we're legit now.
We're there?
I know
media? Media
that.
wise?
Yeah, to be like
I think
media
just
legitimate.
a podcast. I
So,
mean,
like-
we have a podcast.
So we just show proof that we have a podcast.
Dude, I'll tell you.
Will
right
that get
now,
us into the White House?
more than likely just money.
Hey, no.
Just
Oh.
pay money.
Who you know?
Would that
Yeah.
get us
So you
into a
know.
Whiskey Myers show?
What?
Having a podcast.
Having a podcast?
Oh, dude, y'all want, as
Media-
long as it's not a
media
Dallas
pass?
show, I'll bring it all out. Come on.
Then we got to compete with the 200 other people.
Hey, yeah, me and Cody are doing an acoustic show at Hanks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
December.
Let us know.
Yeah, dude.
Let us know, homie.
You gonna be there, Jamie?
I went to the last one.
Will you be in the crowd?
No, I was on the stage.
Should we boo them? Let's go and just boo them the whole time. Moon them and stuff. Boo!
What is
terrible?
You might get
Play Freebird.
I think everybody else might get mad at you because I mean, it's a rowdy crowd. Because we used to play Hanks all the
Well,
time.
Hanks Whiskey Myers cut their teeth at Hanks.
Yeah,
back
I mean,
in the day.
me too.
Yeah.
Like,
Me
I
too.
think
my
whenever,
first JDK show was at Hanks.
Yeah, it was. There's a video, a very good video of that from Melissa and Dale Arnold. Yeah, you know them? Yeah. Hey.
No, I was chewing in the microphone. I didn't realize I could hear it.
Yeah, Hanks was a place, man. And they've revamped it, they rebuilt it, and their last year, y'all did the acoustic shows that went out there. It's good, man. The acoustic show is really awesome.
That'd be cool.
Best
I
acoustic
miss
show.
seeing you guys local, man. You are so big now. Go back to small.
Like I said, you want the experience. Travel to
Right.
like somewhere else outside of Dallas.
That's what we should. I want to go to Missoula. I'm a huge Montana fan, so
Come on,
let's
man.
go to Missoula. Let's do that.
Yeah.
At 12 o'clock siren on the road in
Yeah.
Missoula.
Yeah, I guarantee you'll
Hey,
be the only
we
person
can
on my
do
guest
that.
list if you come out.
When we go up there to do the Gambler, we can swing over and catch that.
Dude, that's what we should do. Have y'all heard of the Gambler?
Nah.
Gambler 500?
Whiskey should get a Gambler team together. That would be so sick.
12 o'clock siren
So
and a whiskey.
sick.
So the Gambler 500
Fair.
is a point-to-point race. It's not 500 miles.
It's a checkpoint rally, I
And
think is what they call it.
500 is the recommended amount you spend on the vehicle you enter. So it's
I'm down.
Yeah. So we're gonna do.
You can
something
have
like
as
that.
many teams as you would like in like your fleet or whatever, and most teams are themed. So like we talked about this before, one of the themes that we saw that was cool was like the dudes were in an old Crown Vic and they were dressed up like the Beastie Boys from the Sabotage video. So along those lines, like A-Team van, you get a minivan, you spray paint it black and red, you're the A-Team.
They should be the 12 o'clock siren, and we'll be Whiskey Myers.
Dude, would that not be hilarious?
Can we enter a tour bus?
They have these all over the U.S.
Yes, you
so
can, by the way.
absolutely. You could just show up there if
It's
you're
got to
having a
pass
night off.
inspection. Is that right?
It has to be road legal, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Not pass. I
Yeah.
guess pass.
Yeah, so
inspection.
you buy the cheapest
gotta be
piece of crap
insured.
car you can, and then you just drive it checkpoint to checkpoint. And you kind of check in at each one. You take a selfie. We made it to this location. And it's not a race to the finish. Now, if you finish first, you will be your car will
Ridiculed.
probably be vandalized, and you're just trying to finish.
Right.
That's the goal. So
Sounds like
yeah.
fun.
The Gambler 500, check it out. If you guys want to get a team together, we would love to challenge you.
Chili and
Hey, I used to
racing.
fabricate, man. I got ideas.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got
man.
nothing but ideas. That's
Oh,
all I've
man.
got. Matthew and I got just
Lots of
more
paper,
ideas
lots of
than-
books.
Overflowing. If I had enough money to fund them all, boy, I'd be poor.
Matthew has good ideas.
I'd be
I just have
poor.
ideas.
Actually, I think Matthew has bad ideas because he took off his hoodie.
Yeah. Matthew is tank
get
top for
cold?
life. If you don't know that about him yet,
It's getting warm.
Y'all cold?
No, I
just
just
got
kind of
warm.
I kind of liked
Feel
your
great.
hoodie.
Yeah.
Well,
And
the
he's been
hoodie's
working
all right.
out, so-
yeah, you got the Nike tracksuit thing or the Adidas tracksuit thing
Whoa.
going over here.
Whoa.
I had,
Easy.
the, I had the Nike
Easy.
hoodie. I just didn't feel good about it, so I
Ouch.
had to take off the hoodie.
big difference.
I need that Adidas tracksuit.
What'd you guys do last weekend? Anything cool? James, you drilled, right?
I had military duty, right? Part-time
What about you, Shu?
soldier,
What'd you do?
everyday hero. Thank me for my service.
Hey,
Thank you for your
sir.
service.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What'd you do, Matthew?
We went to a bourbon event, a bourbon extravaganza at the Love Field.
Did you
Oh,
overindulge?
It was we got there early and it took advantage of the master's class Lagavulin, the Scotch.
Oh, God.
Put on this master's
No, it
class
was-
in which you tasted like 9 different.
It was Lafroig.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lefroy. Yeah, not Lagavulin, different Scotch.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it was a lot of whiskeys and scotches and finger foods and stuff. We did a smoked rum old fashioned drink. That was pretty good.
That sounds amazing.
What'd you
Yeah.
do?
Oh, fancy.
Actually,
Drink with
I
the
didn't
pinky
do a
up.
whole lot,
Yep.
but one thing I
Pinkies
did
up.
that I really wanted to talk about was I went to the Leonard Tiger football game
Yep.
Oh,
to support
Big
Coach
win.
Fletcher.
Big win.
A
He was,
huge win. It was a
Episode 11?
yes.
Yep.
Coach
think
Fletcher is the for you guys. He's the coach of
I
the
know
Leonard
Fletcher.
Tigers. Do you
Yeah.
know Fletch?
Yeah.
Fletch was on, and we talked. And man, we love that dude. So I went and checked out Leonard. They were playing Blue Ridge, and they probably should not have won that game, and they won it going away, Jack.
In a decisive manner.
It was the best.
Yeah.
the best high school football game I have ever seen in my life.
Wow.
There were players on the team, like JV kids, who were moved up to varsity for the week, doing things they should not have been doing, man. Just everybody played out of their minds, and Leonard ended up winning by like 3 touchdowns. It was amazing. Fletcher was calling trick plays. Everything he did worked.
I'd like to think we had something to do with that.
It was amazing,
I think
man.
we might have
It was
sparked a
lot
little
of fun.
fire in the trick playbook.
It was super fun. And DJ Brown, who
I was
is
gonna say, yep.
my cousin Brandon and Angie Dunman, it's their oldest son. And DJ won the Ford Tough Player of the Week for Texas 3A this week.
For the
He had
state of Texas.
for the state.
That's
Hit
awesome.
so DJ had like 200 and something yards rushing, 150 passing. I think he had 5 or 6 touchdowns. He went off.
Yeah,
It
so
was amazing,
congratulations,
man.
DJ.
Very cool.
And shout out to Fletch and the Leonard Tigers, and it was a lot of fun, man.
Very
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. What do y'all
Super
got
fun.
going next week?
Saturday, you got to see a buddy of ours.
Saturday, I went to the
show.
Lowbrow Hoedown,
Yeah.
and I checked out Jim McDonald's stuff and some of the other stuff there. It was really neat.
Nice.
And Jim gave me some swag to give away to some of our listeners, some little stickers and stuff. Jimbo Originals.
Okay.
I forgot to bring them tonight, and the weather's crappy, but we'll hide them soon, and you guys can get some Jimbo stuff.
We've got some stuff coming out too. Matthew made some swag today that I think people are gonna like.
Took a few quotes from some past episodes and put them in decal form. So
Can
we'll
I,
be,
some of
can I
those.
say one?
yeah, go ahead.
Waylon, I don't have time to go to Atoka.
That's perfect. Who said that?
Who said that?
I believe that was
You should know.
Ooh,
that.
you don't know?
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
Arvis
there
that
you
said
go.
that.
That was
Yeah,
Arvis.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Arvis
that-
Buchanan.
we've done a lot of episodes.
Anyway, we just thought taking some of these quotes, take them out of context, and put them on a windshield of a car would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
think my favorite is Garrett Todd's.
Garrett's
Yeah.
is
Garrett
cool.
Todd has a good one.
I appreciate the way I am, Garrett Todd.
I think I might have to
I
run it
appreciate
by
you
these
too,
guys
Garrett.
to make sure they don't mind their quotes going out in public
That'll
like
be
that,
good.
out of context.
I had
45%
something.
charge.
Yeah.
I had something else happen to me this week.
Uh-oh.
Something weird.
Okay.
He's
Something
got
that's
serious.
never happened to me in my life.
Ooh,
What?
Okay, let me paint a picture for you guys.
Kidney stones.
No, not that weird. That would be
Good.
really weird. I told James about this.
He did.
I
It is
didn't
weird.
share it with you because I wanted it to be organic when
All
I
right.
brought it to the show.
All right.
Okay,
Edge of my seat.
so I think it was maybe last Thursday night or Friday. I'm asleep. I had a weird dream. Nothing like extremely weird, but it ended kind of weird. I woke up at about 3 a.m. in the morning, pitch black in my room, right? We have blackout curtains. There's no street lights. It's pitch black. I open my eyes, and I look on my side of the bed, and my initial thought was, I don't remember my wife hanging her wedding dress on the wall there. It's about as far away from me as you are right now, which is like
is this
4
like
feet.
a half sleep estate? Or?
No, I was awake.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a light sleeper anyway. I
Yeah.
don't never get into that deep sleep that you
Gotcha.
need,
Yeah,
that your body.
yeah,
I
yeah.
never get that.
Same.
So
Is that why you've lost the will to live?
yeah, that's why I have these bags under my eyes. I know that. And since then, I haven't slept a wink. So I look over, and it's pitch black in the room, and I see this white shape that looks like what I can only describe as like a wedding dress. And
It's an apparition.
I close my eyes, and I'm like, okay, that's probably, I just imagine that. And I open them again. It's still there. So I start kind of freaking out, right? I'm like, oh, man, if I move a muscle, I might force this thing's hand, and it
This
might move.
demon will kill me.
Yeah. So my wife is sawing logs behind me, right? She'll get mad at me for. So here's this thing, and I'm the only thing I can think is probably what most people would, and that's just start praying.
Yeah.
So I start praying. I'm like, Lord, watch over us.
God, it's me again.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't want to get in too much of that because that's kind of private. But I start praying, and then eventually, I'm gonna call it maybe 4 or 5 minutes. This thing kind of just dissolves, kind of fades away.
Can I blow your mind really quick? And I'll try to make it
I
as
wanna hear it.
short as I possibly can.
I wanna hear it.
I'm a firm believer in what you just said. A lot of there's two scientists who were atheists, and they were looking into the alien abduction theories and all
sleep
these
paralysis
sleep
and all that.
paralysis stuff like that. And there's only one thing that there's a common denominator amongst every single story, every single one of them that actually converted the scientists into believers, and that was when you called on God, specifically Jesus.
They went away.
It went away.
Well, if that's not a little bit of information for you,
I didn't get into this. I told James about this.
I know that it's very private, and
Yeah.
I usually don't.
Well, I'll share it since we brought it up. While I was praying, I kind of open my eyes and check to see if this thing is still there. Okay, well, like I wanted to paint you guys a picture. I'm paralyzed with fear, and it's because my mind is going a million different directions. I see this thing, and for all I know, it could have just been a shadow or something weird. But it's extremely bright. There's no face or anything. It's just a white shape. And if I had to assign it a gender, it would be feminine. It looked kind of like a female shape. I never felt like this thing was threatening. I did feel like it was just kind of watching over, but I wasn't. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And you can call me crazy if you want. I don't care. I am crazy. So, so I see this thing. I start praying. I'm praying for the normal stuff. Something kind of came to me. It was like, ask for everything. Don't ask for that. Ask for everything you can think. So I'm praying for my nephews and nieces' health. I'm praying for people I
Rain
barely
in Africa,
know. Yeah, I mean everything I can think to pray for. And while I'm going through this just random list of things that I'm praying for, other than myself and my wife's well-being, I open my eyes and this thing starts to dissolve, and then I can move. But it's never happened to me in my life.
Hey.
It's terrifying.
That's wild.
When it
That
happens.
is wild, man.
Props for
terrifying,
putting
too.
that out there because
Yeah.
I'm with you 100% on that because that's a big deal, and I fully agree and believe everything about that because I mean even just in the last year, like staying with Tony, I've had some weird things happen in his house.
What is that?
Is this Northeast Texas, man?
Well, I'll tell
what
you
is
this.
that in your hand?
Since then,
Oh, I'm a diabetic. I'm checking my sugar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right on.
Checking my blood
I was like,
sugar.
I've never seen that phone.
Yeah.
I was like, what is? I thought it was
Tiny
like a
little phone.
Fitbit or something
That's
like
that's
Fitbit's next level or
That's
How
something.
many steps did you get today?
It's new diabetic technology.
Got that body bug on.
So
Before
I
we,
saw you messed with it earlier. I didn't think much of it, but I was like, what is that?
before we leave
making
this
sure I'm
topic,
healthy.
my wife will laugh at this. I've slept with one of those sleep masks on since then because I
If
feel
you
like
can't
if I
see
can't
it?
see it, it's not
Hey,
there.
hey,
I got one of those for
Do
the
you-
bus.
to attribute to that right there, sleeping with a sleep mask on. Whenever I stay at Tony's, which I'm currently staying at Tony's right now, I have to leave the light on. I have a night. I put a night.
Is it
light.
creepy there? What's
Well,
going on
no,
over
just
there?
because the experiences that
What?
and it's
Can you get into that stuff? Can you tell me a little bit
yeah,
about
I
it?
mean,
TK,
yeah.
are you all right with talking about your
Haunted house?
well, it's I don't even know if it's. I mean,
Tony
I
is
think Tony has
17
his
foot
own-
from his microphone right now.
Tony. Tony has his own stories from it.
He's ready to
but
play ping pong.
He's playing deep in case
I
one
have
gets hit
one story.
deep.
Tony has one story, but like me, I mean, we didn't get into it earlier, but I have a lot of my own stories, and like when I don't know, it's kind of weird. People are gonna think it's
Separate from
crazy,
the
but
This is
You're going to show up at the next big Wisty Myers show.
Tony's
and people
just
are
got
gonna
hungry,
dress as
brother.
ghost.
I got back into what I was telling you
Yeah.
earlier about the sleep paralysis.
Sure.
And, the
Which I've done that
astral
too.
projection stuff.
That's
And I had these. I
terrifying.
had like since I've been staying. I had these reoccurring moments that were like, dude,
Iffy.
there's something messing with me right now, and I don't like it. And I've noticed every time I sleep with the light off, it happens, and it's the craziest thing. I've never in my life had a
It's
night
'cause
light.
you're
I've never been afraid of the dark. I'm not afraid of the dark at all. I'm not afraid of anything.
Says the man
really.
who sleeps with a nightlight.
Yeah, now I have a nightlight. Yeah.
It's because you're staying in a place called Hog Eye.
What you it's
Indian
it definitely
burial
attributes
ground.
to what you were saying, Jason. It's
Absolutely.
it's a real,
Indian
it's a real
burial
thing.
ground.
It's one of the most frightening experiences you can because you feel completely helpless.
I'll tell you what scared me the most is I thought that if I made a move, I wouldn't be able to get to my wife quick enough.
But could you have made the move if you wanted to?
I don't know.
Because
I really
But you
don't.
weren't
in those
in
moments,
sleep
you're
paralysis.
No. I was paralyzed with fear. Like
Okay.
I didn't want to move.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Because you've had the sleep
I
paralysis.
guess.
That's
I guess.
horrifying.
I'm not I really don't know what happened. I've never had that happen. But
It's a weird thing.
I know that the position I was in when I woke up, I couldn't move from that position. I really could not.
Man, nothing unmans you like the supernatural.
Well,
dude.
I woke my wife
You know?
up. Once it went away, I turned over, and I put my arm around my wife, and we don't cuddle a lot. She would love to, but I'm not a cuddler. I'm not a cuddler.
Too hot.
Yeah, I don't like things by my face when I sleep. So I put my arm on her, and she woke up like she has before, and we comfort each other when we have bad dreams, right? So we're like, "You're fine." If you're in your subconscious state and you hear, "You're fine," your dreams will kind of dissipate. They're not as bad. So I put my arm on her, and I'm trembling with fear. And she's like, "You're okay. It's just a dream." And I was like, "I'm not asleep." And then I was like, "Can you turn on your lamp, please?" So when she turns her lamp on, I'm checking behind me. I'm terrified, dude. It scared the crap out of me.
That's funny, man. I mean, it's not
I'm
funny.
I'm only afraid of snakes and tall grass. I'm not scared of the dark.
Ghosts
You know what I mean?
now.
Sleep paralysis is a thing that most people they don't want to bring up to people because they don't know how to explain it.
It's a lot more common,
It's
though.
it's common amongst almost everybody. Almost everybody experiences sleep paralysis.
I've had it 3 or 4
They don't know what
times.
it is. It's one of the most terrifying moments of your life.
I'll tell you what adds to this story is that we've moved in this house 2 months ago. We've been in there since late July, so I don't know this house. You know,
It makes noises.
Yeah,
Might be
we're-
something a little attached.
I don't know,
to it.
Might
man.
just be the ghost that lives
I know
there.
my wife went around like spreading holy water and stuff on every doorway the
It's
next
only
morning.
happened to me in the studio. It's happened to me twice.
Which studio?
Is it like
The
that?
old-
No, I'm just talking to you.
Oh,
He's like,
On the
hell with the
podcast, he's just
podcast.
talking to
Yeah, no,
yeah. If Tony's pitchy on the podcast, guys, it's because
We're having mic
refuses to talk
difficulties.
into his microphone.
Just kick the drum down there.
yeah, just-
He's all chilled back like a drummer.
So no studio. I want to hear this because is it like
I've-
the Ghost of Hank or
I've
something?
actually had
Which
the same
studio?
experience in the studio too.
No, I think it's from stress.
Yeah, just hallucinating
Well,
from
there is
lack
a
of
lot-
sleep and
There is a lot
thinks
that
it's
happens
stress.
when the mind goes into sleep and rest, and it does drift. And God knows you've had a real dream, and you wake up and it was so real that you thought you could go back to it, or
Yeah,
Well,
it
and
seemed
that's actually a thing. Like when I used to and I'm gonna get deep, I guess.
Yeah,
when
do
I
it.
used
This
to-
is what
when I
we're
used to-
doing.
When I used to practice, or when I was, I lost my faith a long time ago and came back recently. But when I had lost my faith and I was practicing these astral projection and sleep paralysis kind of things, one of the things was like you can't be afraid of it. And
Yeah.
that's what it is. Like, it's completely terrifying.
Yeah, whoever said that?
Whoever and that's what
it's
the first time I ever experienced sleep paralysis, I thought Satan himself was in the room with me.
Well, because you
saying
see something.
I had complete control. Yes, I did
Yeah.
see something.
Well, most people do in
And-
sleep paralysis.
And I felt the most helpless I've ever been and the most afraid I've ever been in my life in that moment. But then when you overcome that fear,
Yeah, it
you
goes
can
away
actually,
quickly.
You can actually experience things that are beyond this realm, which we should not be delving into.
Yes.
and those are the things that we should not be messing with. There's a reason there's a veil.
Yeah.
We should not know about
Yeah,
some things.
you're peeking behind the curtain there, and it's letting you
I
know.
don't want it now. I don't want to peek behind there. I don't want to see a ghost. I believe in like the paranormal. I
know.
don't want to see it.
Yeah, we're not equipped for those
I
things.
just want to live my life the way it's going.
Man, now I know I'm going to have a bad experience tonight. I'm
James
going to
had a
sleep with a nightlight.
You had a
I made
creepy
fun of you.
story at your parents' house, right?
Yeah, man. So
me about this.
we live. My folks live out in Bailey, and it was a house that was built.
Ghost of Bailey.
That's
Shout
it,
out to
man.
all our Bailey listeners,
That's it.
Mike and Janie.
They're tiny but strong, right? Is that what she said?
They're
Tiny-
small but strong.
Small
Yeah.
but strong. But anyway,
That's
we
a good quote right there from Miss Hartley.
That's true. The house we lived in was built. We bought it from the guy that built it. He had a heart attack and fallen in a fire that he was burning brush, and he was supposed to meet his wife in Austin. She didn't she didn't know why he didn't show up. They searched the place for a while. Then they found his body there. Well, we didn't know this when we bought the house. And man, I woke up. I was like 16 years old. We moved there when I was like 12. There was always weird stuff happening, but none of us talked about it. And I woke up when I was like 16, and kind of a similar situation as Jason. No lights out there, and across from my bed was just a blank wall. And it was about 2:00 in the morning, and it was like somebody was shining a light on that wall, and there was a perfect silhouette of somebody. And being the grown man I was, I said, "Mom, Dad," and they came in, and I told them what was going on, and they kind of looked at each other, and they were like, "We'll talk about this in the morning." I'm like, "I'm supposed to go back to sleep," But the next day we talked about it, and they said, "Well, we've been seeing stuff too," and my mom had seen kind of an apparition, and nobody wants to talk about it because it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And my dad said, "Man, I don't see anything at the house, but when I'm at the barn, I get real weird feelings." And anyway, but we were releasing the place at the time, and then once we bought it, it all stopped. Just stopped.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's weird. I don't know.
Like you sealed the deal.
It's like we sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Maybe that dude or
put it
energy
to
or whatever
rest.
that is,
Yeah.
he's gone or whatever. I don't know. It's strange, man. I don't know.
It is strange. It's so
Try not to think about it too much.
It's unexplainable to the point where you don't really want to try to explain it.
No, now I want to go home and like
Oh, I feel like this stuff is none of my business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it very much is. You started it off with your story about.
No. I mean, like, whatever is. If there is something hanging around my house, like,
It's
you can
not.
stay there. Just don't mess with me. You know what I mean? Like, if you want daytime while I'm at work, you can have daytime.
Well, you know,
just don't mess with my dog. You know.
Eddie Murphy talks about the difference between black people and white people. Is white people always want to investigate. I feel like I got a lot in common with the black people. I'm like, I get out. I'll just get out when a ghost is.
Yeah, I'm not trying to prove.
This is very weird, but I do notes on a lot of these shows on our guests and stuff, and I didn't have a whole lot of access to you, Jamie, because I'm not Facebook friends
try
or
to hide
personal friends or anything. But
Jamie's low key.
But look at the fourth one. It's just too weird. That was what I wrote down.
Yeah, man.
Ghost stories.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I wrote that down.
You had that on your notes?
Yeah.
Those are my notes.
I had that on my notes.
So his notes say base.
Look at that.
South Garland High School, Tarantino fan, ghost stories.
We didn't even
I like.
talk about Tarantino.
Where you? Oh, look at that ghost.
I had it on my notes.
Jason's got it on his.
I don't know if
We
I
had
have
ESPN.
ghost stories, but I do have like.
Well, I think that
Yeah.
falls under the realm of
Sure.
supernatural.
So you talked
I
about
got the one in
cryptids.
the-
You got some cryptid stuff?
Wait, Tony,
Well,
what?
me and Jamie, like, he has a room over for me.
I'm like 5. I sleep like 10 feet away from Tony.
Yeah, but there's a door
and a wall.
and a
Yeah,
wall.
okay.
And a light that's on.
It's not like twin beds in the same room, like
That would be fun. There'd be a lot more room if we like had twin beds,
Yeah.
or bunk beds actually.
room
Yeah.
for activities.
Yeah.
We probably should.
Tony, could we get you to talk into your microphone? You don't like the mic, do you? You need a headset
No.
with a mic on it.
Yeah.
He's
We
just
should get
sitting,
that.
He's sitting back being comfortable and stuff.
You can hold the
good.
mic.
Yeah.
I
that's true.
literally
You can-
sleep with
You can adjust it too.
If you want.
I just wanted to make that hand motion.
Yeah.
I sleep with 2 pillows
As
beside
do
my
I.
bed
This is
because I once saw a Civil War soldier like beside my bed, which it's probably like
So did you lay pillows out for him to be comfortable?
I
This
put the
was for when
pillows
you
up
rolled
so
off
I
the other
couldn't
side?
see
Oh,
Yeah.
I got you.
because I woke up one time and I saw that.
Thinking.
That's funny. I told Tony about I guess when I first started staying with Tony, I told him about like some of these things I started experiencing over there, and he was like, "Dude, I have to sleep this way because of this."
And you're like, stop.
yeah,
Please stop talking.
But it's funny because it doesn't really bother me. I mean, I'm not afraid of anything.
Nah.
Yeah,
I toss and turn every night
I
'cause my
still
neck
don't want to
hurts.
see
No, yeah,
any
yeah.
of it.
Because my neck hurts.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
Probably because you've been using that contraption over there in the doorway.
Yeah,
Or
stretch
maybe
Well,
you should-
we talk a lot about
Yeah, that doesn't look like a neck
on this
stretcher. That
show.
looks like a
We
torture
are big
device.
fans of
pretty
the
intense.
Lee Peacock feud, and I have some friends that live in Blue Ridge, and they say that that's what they've seen around the Blue Ridge area. So, and if you think about things that went on in this area,
the murders of Southern
yeah.
sympathizer troops
yeah,
and all that.
there's some heavy activity, and it's
Yeah.
all Civil War
12
type
o'clock siren
troops
goes,
and-
ghost
History
hunting.
blows me away. You know, we live in the best times
The
there is
hotbed.
to be alive. No, we live in the
Oh,
best
absolutely.
times of human existence. We literally do. And this is something that like people don't understand. Everybody thinks because of the news and the media that we have it so bad because of what they portray. We have it the
Oh,
easiest
man.
that anybody's
Yeah,
ever
sure.
had it in the history of humanity.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're not getting drafted or anything like that.
Dude,
Or just-
literally,
we're not fighting for freedom.
Literally, Tony's mom was telling me today about her grandmother had to how to keep meat cold, and I was like, dude, we got fridges,
Yeah.
we got the internet, we have
Air conditioning,
we have
and- yeah.
yes, and it's crazy because people think we have it so bad, but we're in the perfect. I mean, I say perfect. It's not. Nothing's perfect. Nothing's
Yeah.
been perfect, but like this.
Tell
is
you what, I would
crazy.
go back about 20 years and get rid of
I-
these cell phones in a heartbeat. If
Dude.
everybody did, I would drop mine in a heartbeat.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
maybe if we could just keep them as like jitterbugs where they had no
Or
access.
directions.
So our
Directions?
my first cell phone was at 18 years old, and it was just the Nokia that had Snake on it.
Yeah,
It's just
man.
black and white
the
pixel graphics
1310 or whatever.
And it's crazy because we live in a time that we went through that. We didn't have cell phones.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, we were a lot more social because of it.
But even before that, think about like our parents. They didn't have.
Oh, yeah,
they
they
didn't
were way
have
more
cable
social.
TV or whatever.
Well, this square right here was our parents' Facebook. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if they wanted to know what was going on Friday
Our
night, they would
Facebook.
come up here.
Ours
yeah,
too.
ours
It was
too.
ours too.
Ours too, but
it's this exponential growth of technology that we don't we don't even like we talked about before we got on the mics. About,
it's hamstringed us
FaceTime.
socially. Yeah,
We talked about FaceTime. How I don't. It's really uncomfortable for FaceTime, but that was a sci-fi for us. Like
Yeah,
in the day,
for sure.
like I saw on TV people
gets
talking
here, you
on a
don't like it.
phone with a picture in front of them, talking to that person, and that's like every day now.
Dick
People
Tracy.
FaceTime every
Dick
day.
Tracy
Yeah.
clock, you know? Watch.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I had the clock.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Did you guys ever go out to Lee Cemetery?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
man.
yeah.
Captain Bob Lee
Oh,
out
yeah.
there. Yep.
Absolutely.
Many a night.
It's closed to the public right now because of some vandalism and
Oh,
stuff. but
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drove by it the other day.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, that's
are big fans of the Lee Peacock feuds around here. We
Yeah.
talk about it all the time. We're going to make a movie about it one of these
We
days.
would like to.
We need
Yeah.
funding. If you guys want to pitch in,
Yeah.
Don't
One
even
of
know
our
what that
one of our
is.
guests, Mr. Sutherland, Mike Sutherland,
wanna-
it was on not long ago. He has a significant interest in it,
You wanna
and
explain to
he
Jamie what
perked
that
up
is?
when we got interested in it too.
You want to
I'm
explain to Jamie
totally
what the
down.
Lee Peacock feuds
Yeah,
are?
I need to
So
know.
the Lee Peacock feud,
And for all your listeners that are from Leonard,
Grant
Yeah, for
surrendered
sure.
to Appomattox.
All three of them.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Grant surrendered to Appomattox, right? And during the Civil War, and afterwards, Sergeant Bob Lee came back home to Northeast Texas here and gave himself a promotion, called himself Captain Bob Lee, and vowed to continue the fight against the North. So he had like a guerrilla warfare thing. The North had moved in troops to kind of pacify, and and there was, it was like an insurgency for a long time, and they murdered. Did they murder Peacock? And he killed
there were a
Peacock.
lot of murders before
Yeah.
his, I think.
Anyway, they were murdering people back
This
and forth.
area here, what he talked about, Lee Cemetery, which is right smack dab in the middle of what used to be Wildcat Thicket.
Right.
And that was a place where they would, seek refuge. They would hide out in there, and Peacock kind of hunted these guys down
And
after the Civil War was over.
the way
Oh,
they
wow.
did that was so Wildcat Thicket ran from Sherman almost all the way to Greenville, and it was very thick. And so Bob Lee's Southern sympathizers and guerrilla troops would hide out in those thickets because they knew it. They knew the trails. And on Sundays, they would meet their old ladies out there to have fried chicken and lemonade, I guess, or whatever.
day
Well,
off.
Well, and they got the northern troops, got to looking and watching the women, and so they came out and like massacred them.
Yeah.
One Sunday when they were having their day off, and so Bob Lee was killed, and that was the Lee Peacock feud.
This feud went on for, a couple of years, I think?
Some say it's still not done.
Yeah, well, I think Lee was in, Dodge City or somewhere in Fannin County, in the northeast corner of Fannin County. He was in a general store where he was shot in the back, and then a doctor there nursed him back to health, and the doctor, I
Pilot
think, was
Grove.
shot, yeah.
It was Pilot Grove
Yeah.
is where he was.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, it went on for a while. So the Lee Peacock feuds, and that's Lee Cemetery that we
Okay.
talk about today, and a lot of us kids hung out there and did, a lot of sinful things there. But yeah. So Lee Peacock feuds. It's
Okay.
a cool piece of the Civil War history that
Yeah.
that we can kind
That we can kind of touch and put our hands
of
on.
we can
Yeah,
kind
it's so
of
cool. I remember back in the day, we would go there in high school. It's
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're there.
Yeah, and you kind of, even back then, we knew it was something, old, but I don't think we ever fully grasped what we were looking at.
We didn't know
Yeah.
the significance.
Yeah.
But the good thing about Lee Cemetery is on either side of Lee Cemetery, you have Low Bridge near
Yep.
the water and
It's
High
an eerie
Bridge.
piece of geography
It
too.
is.
It's
It
just
is.
an odd little place in the town.
It is,
The,
and,
the roads are a different type of
It's
dirt.
one of the
mud.
last.
It's just back roads and rural.
Yeah.
It's one of the last chapters of the Civil War. I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean,
after
it's
the war
the
was
last
over.
chapter.
Yeah, it sounds
Oh,
like
yeah,
kind
it's
of like
really
the end of
neat.
World War II.
But we always joked that it would make a great, a movie. It
Yeah.
would make a good Western, or So when we had this Mike Sutherland on, he's a movie buff. He was a reporter for a long time. He wrote for the Herald Democrat. He
he did
wrote
some-
for a lot
He's
of
history
stuff.
buff.
He did
Civil
some
War.
And
productions, too.
he was like, let's do that. I'll write you guys a screenplay.
Man.
So
He perked. He
then
perked
we're
up
all like,
when we-
oh, how can we fund this thing? But who knows?
So we got to find that out.
Yeah.
So it's still in the works.
It'll probably
Yeah.
look
And it
like
still
the
will be
Blair
next
Witch
time.
project, but it'll just be us dressed
Right.
up in
Yeah.
Civil War.
iPhones.
Yeah.
You saw our Halloween costumes, right?
Yes, I did. I can't wait to see it in person.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, I know.
Easy.
Just
You
edging-
can't give me
edging
teasers.
there.
You gotta
We
give
can't-
teasers.
we can't-
Yeah,
talk
I'm
about
just
that later.
edging the audience towards
There we
the
go.
Halloween costume.
That
What's it
was
gonna
the
be?
teaser.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You see what I'm doing there?
All we can say is it's a trio.
It is a trio. Well, there's three of
Is
us.
it ZZ Top?
Oh, beards, man.
Oh, that's a good.
Well,
one.
not
Maybe we
everybody
should
gets to
change
wear a
it.
beard. We'd have to rock paper scissors for.
No, we could wear the fake beards.
Yeah, but only two guys in
Mm.
ZZ Top have a beard. So.
Oh, that's true.
The
Except
dude
for the
named
except-
Beard,
Yeah.
ironically, does not have a beard.
One of the first times, besides Randy Rhoads talking about Six Market earlier, one of the first times that I ever called out a guitarist was on the second Hank Williams III album in Trashville, and he was the solo in that. I said, that sounds like Billy Gibbons. It was Billy Gibbons. He played on that. I was like, oh, look at
Right
me.
on.
You know, so.
He's got an undeniable style.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like it was obscure. I was like,
Who
oh, that's
are
obviously
your?
Billy Gibbons.
Yeah, we're talking about stuff like that. You play bass. Who's your bass influences?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, actually,
Bootsy Collins or somebody?
I was a guitar
Boots.
player originally.
Yeah.
I mean, I started as a guitar player. Moving on to bass, like I've got a lot of different bass. I guess influence. I mean, I take influence from everything, man. I was in a reggae band before I played with Whiskey. I was in a metal band. I was
You
in
got a reggae vibe.
screamo band. I was in a lot of different genres, and I have no preference. Like I love all music. If it's
Sure.
good, it's good.
Yeah, good is good.
Some of my favorite bass players, and I probably couldn't even tell you their names. I don't know, like the guy from Cake. Cake is,
Yeah, sure.
dude, the Cake bass player is
Yeah. Ding.
insane, man. Yeah.
Ding,
Dude,
ding.
it's one of my favorite bass lines, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
love cake.
Yeah. That being said, I think, like all the different genres that I went through, like reggae taught me a lot about simplicity. And like, the bass kind of makes everybody shake their ass. And they don't they don't realize it.
Yeah,
They
I
don't
mean,
know.
to the
rhythm section.
untrained ear, I think the bass goes unnoticed too much. But
And that's fine. I stand in the shadows anyway.
Well,
that's
that's a
kinda my
bass man thing, right?
That's kind of my thing, man.
what about you, TK? Who's your influences? You have like super.
JDK is a drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that?
We had that conversation before we came over. Here,
How is that,
Yeah,
John David?
Yeah.
He's the best drummer.
John was a drummer in Radish,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But John's
and
an
you-
all-around musician, man.
Dude,
I mean,
he is.
yeah.
I was
Yeah,
in
that's-
that same conversation. I was telling Tony, I was like, man, being in the studio with John, he was like, yeah, John's one of the best drummers ever. And I was like, dude, well, I really like playing with you. You're one of my favorite drummers to play with. But being in the studio with John, like, as his bass player, I was under the gun. Like, John's watching me play these parts. I'm like, dude,
Well,
why don't you just play him? He's like, no, you're gonna play him. And I'm like, oh.
I've reviewed. We talked about John David's first album,
Yeah.
and I've reviewed it with James a few times. I forced him to listen to. I forced him to listen to music all the time, and we talked about like that first John David album and the second one too, for that matter. The drums are clear and pretty through the whole. I mean, they're just they're there. The whole thing. It's just
That's John playing on
Right.
it. Yeah.
What's that like, TK? I mean, like you're a drummer. Your older brother's a drummer.
you came to drumming a little late, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was
started.
like 15.
Yeah. Was that just was that influence from him, or you're like ready? You're like, okay, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
he had a studio, so I was like, yeah, there's a kit there. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll play it. And I was like playing like Bowling for Soup and Lit
Yeah.
and stuff. Then I kind of fell into my own.
Sure.
What
But I
are the
was still
differences
looking.
between you guys? You have different styles, different approaches. Jamie's shaking his head like
We argued about this earlier. It didn't argue. It was a discussion.
Yeah, I don't think we're much different. I think like
Jamie disagrees.
No, they're different. They're not much different.
I play like John, but he's better.
Did John teach you to play?
No,
No.
Man,
I mean
think John.
he taught me.
Sure,
things.
y'all had time. Sure.
I think John would listen to this and say he would shake his head and give Tony the credit he deserves, because I think Tony's being very humble right now.
Sure.
Tony is.
He's a great drummer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You come from a long line of music, right?
Yeah,
you
Yeah, I
have
mean, I
musical
played.
family.
I played ball for your uncle John Michael.
Yeah.
and he can play the guitar and sing a little bit. You know, well he surprised me one time. I went over to his house and he picked up the guitar and I didn't know he played, and he kind of
He can
jammed
also
on
get
it.
a technical on the.
All right, well I've seen that. That doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah. No, man, I was joking on the interview, the last episode there, that I recorded at John's studio, and I was kind of making it out like I was a terrible guitarist, but John and I were hanging out a lot, and I used to give him a hard time about music and stuff, just stupid kid, but he was always, we'd go over there and play, and I was always like, man, that's a professional. right there.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, the
I think
the
that's the best way
definition.
to describe him.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
because
professional.
I was stupid. I was arrogant in my music taste. I thought the heavier the better, right? You know, and all this. And John didn't play that music, but he sat down behind the kit one time and just did out some like blast beats, and I was like, oh my gosh, like not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can basically do that with a guitar and a bass and
I know.
keys.
He can.
on pretty much
He
everything.
can, and that's absolutely a fair and accurate statement. But watching John behind the drums, he seems like he's at home. He seems happy.
Yeah, that's where he.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Remember-
a drummer.
That's his instrument.
Yeah,
Do you remember-
he's a drummer, but he can do it all. John on that traveling piano that you guys used to carry.
That like
Oh my
upright
God,
or whatever.
Are you kidding me?
Wow, man.
We used to when we were doing JDK, we would rehearse weekly at Stonewall Music Hall in Greenville, downtown Greenville. We would
I
carry
came and
that
watch you guys there.
that Rhodes. It
Yes.
was a Rhodes cabinet and keys and all up these stairs and down the stairs on a weekly basis to go rehearse and go back.
Yeah, I
and play
remember
our
you
shows.
guys bringing it to
And
Hanks,
I
and
hate, as much as I love the sound, I hated carrying that thing so much.
while we're talking about that arrangement, you played bass.
Yeah.
Tony played drums. John sang, and he played that piano quite a bit. You had Michael on guitar and Jason Andrews on fiddle.
Yeah.
That collection of dudes is insane, man. I still pull up YouTube videos and show my friends to this day.
hands
When you
down.
guys would battle like Allman Brothers songs and stuff, Michael and Jason are battling lead guitar and fiddle. Those
Well, Jason Andrews is kind of widely known as a phenom.
Very
right?
good, yeah. very good.
That's why we have. I mean, that's Whiskey respected that group so much that's why we have this job. pretty
Man,
much.
I've been following.
That's awesome, man.
I mean,
I've
yeah,
been following music, and since I was a little kid, but Texas country specifically since I was, I don't know, 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there.
Wave on wave.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. But that live show that you guys had, you had Lightning in a Bottle for a while, and that was fun. That was a fun arrangement of dudes.
Yeah. It was fun.
What a way to catch it again in whiskey too.
Dude,
Y'all
I
got
mean,
it
yeah,
again.
it's again. I mean, I'll go back to saying this is a God thing. This is straight up what was supposed to happen.
right.
All of this, all of it.
And it's crazy. Like before Jamie was involved, like John played bass for Whiskey.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, wow.
That is
Dude,
crazy. I didn't
John
know
played
that.
drums for my Salute.
Yeah,
John was
yeah.
a drummer for Salute, which is the craziest thing in my life. Like, I didn't realize that at the time whenever he was playing
You
drums
didn't know
for us.
what
I didn't know
it
who
was?
John. I didn't know who John was. It's
no,
funny.
you were pissed off.
I,
because-
well, no, because what happened was John came to play for us, and it became this magical thing. And I'm talking about Salute. John came to play for us as a drummer because he loved what we were doing.
Sure.
And whenever he decided to do John David Kent, Michael Graska,
Yes.
we tried out 2 or 3 different drummers. Yeah,
That
understand
Michael
that.
Graska is as far as raw guitar talent goes. I don't know. Maybe Michael Doherty rivals him, but I haven't met many dudes that can just play a guitar the way he can.
I hate to change the story, but I only started playing with Michael because I was forced into going to watching him practice, and then I was sold.
You're like, oh, okay.
100%. But John played for us, and then that like I didn't realize John David Kent was playing drums for me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then whenever he decided to go do John David Kent, outside of Salute, and Michael said we tried a couple different drummers, and we went through like 2 or 3, and Michael's like, no, this ain't happening. I can't do it without John. I got pissed. I was like, you're gonna quit this because John's not playing drums for you. Turns out, I mean, that was the best.
Right.
that
He was
the
like,
best. And I was at the point where like, well, I'm not going to be a front man. I'm not going to,
Sure.
I'm not going to do all this stuff. So I just got to go with the flow. And I wasn't happy about it at first.
You guys brought a few Salute songs
Yeah.
with you on that first
Yeah.
album.
Yeah. Ride It on the River
yeah.
was one of them.
Two Shotguns.
Two Shotguns.
Two Shotguns.
Cool.
Oh, 2 Shotguns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all did a remix with Kent by
that
Kent
one.
on that,
Yeah.
didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it?
which
Oh, nice.
caught up in a lawsuit on that one.
Really?
So,
Jamie
You know, it's
suing
funny
you.
because I wrote
not
that,
with Jamie.
I wrote that song in 30-minute my 30-minute lunch break at the machine shop that I mentioned earlier in the episode. I wrote that song in 30 minutes. It's 2 Shotguns.
Yeah.
And so when we played it in Salute, it was good. When we started playing it in JDK, I was like, this is great.
Right,
And
right.
then whenever they redid it on the Kent by Kent, I was like, this is the best this song has
Yeah.
ever
That's
Right.
cool.
which nobody's ever gonna hear.
Nice.
Well, that's a good song to its
Well,
core. It can be done
Y'all
in
can't
several
get into
different
that, I'm
ways.
guessing.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I wrote it, so it can still be there somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I actually have a lot of admiration for people who write songs. I can't sing at all, can't carry a tune. I have no melody, and I can't hear melody, so I think I have a hard time writing lyrics because I can never hear how it's supposed to be, you know? And when I was in a band, our singer was good, is Rick Brewer, and he could just hear things, man, and just put a melody to it and write words,
Yeah.
and it just seemed like it came so easy to him, and I always was jealous
Yeah,
of that.
Rick had a gift. You guys would have liked Rick a
Yeah,
lot.
he was a good dude, man. God rest his soul.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Matthew, you look like you wanted to say something.
No, I was getting ready for a Ritzy.
That's funny. Like the older you get, you
Sound
think
drop.
that a lot of people think that like the older you get, you have more experience and the things you can write about and stuff. And I feel like the older I get, I can't write a single
Really?
word. Like, cause I feel like if I write something, I'm either one
I think the
being
older
too
you get,
preacher,
you get jaded, man.
I'm getting too preachy, or I feel like whatever I wrote down is not important enough to hear. So it's like,
Yeah.
what line
Polar
do you want to
opposites.
skirt? Yeah.
Yeah.
What line
yeah,
do you
you.
want to skirt?
Well, I mean, you're
So
like
I-
more aware of yourself,
I
and
just don't even feel like I can write anymore. But
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, man.
but that's kind of a lie. Me and Tony are definitely working on.
Tony, you still jam piano all the time
Yeah.
when you get free time.
Oh,
Dude, I'll wake up sometime. Tony's playing piano down. there,
Knock
so.
it off.
No, never. Dude, if anybody's ever played music, I don't ever tell them to stop.
Hey,
That's something. I
Yeah.
don't care how bad you are.
Well, I'm about 6 weeks into guitar, so
Yeah,
come,
you might
come
tell
to my
him to
house.
stop.
Come to my house, you'll be like,
you
yeah,
know Matt's
knock it
dad works for American Airlines.
He does.
Yeah.
That's why he's going to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
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 So
What's he do?
like one of our best friends, Captain Jack. I was telling you that
Yep.
he just went to American Airlines.
Made the jump from Eagle to American.
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats to him.
He came out. He'd actually be a good person to have
Well,
on, too.
it's funny. We talked about that. We talked about having some aviation folks on
Yeah.
because we the guy that was on last was a pilot. He was a fighter pilot, and then he worked
Oh.
for Southwest for like 30 years or something.
Fighter pilot.
My dad's got
Yeah.
a ton of great stories. He
Oh,
just
man.
probably shouldn't
I
be
bet he's got a
employed
lot of
when
things
tells
he
them.
probably shouldn't tell, too.
Yeah,
well,
we're gonna
yeah.
wait till he retires.
He's
Yeah.
gonna retire and then he'll
Yeah.
be an.
Can we get him on a
interview.
recap just to joke around? Because
Yeah.
he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's the funniest person I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's up
Funny.
there.
Remember when he drew stuff all over your face?
He did. He did. That's how I know I'm loved in that family because I went out and passed out. I was like, I took my shoes off. You can't mess with me. But
You,
he
you didn't even make it
Those
inside.
Doc Martens.
yeah. Now this was not too long ago,
Yeah, it
unfortunately.
wasn't all that long ago.
Yeah, it was, several
really
years
funny.
ago, and I woke
funny.
up and Jason took me home,
Yeah.
and I went and crashed with Jason, and somehow we made it all home without realizing I had artwork drawn on my face.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like taking my
Sharpie all
boots
over.
off and stuff in the dark, and James is in the bathroom with the light on, and he leans out and he's like, "Hey man, you got an extra toothbrush?" And he has stuff drawn all over his face,
Yeah.
and it would not wash
Jason
off.
kind of gave me this look, and I was
Never
like, "What?"
asked
Is
for
this-
an
is
extra
this-
toothbrush.
No,
Is this
I
stuff
know.
drawn on your face that you would not go to church with?
It's stuff yeah.
And so, like, Jason gave me this look, and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Your face." And mind you,
What's
There's a
going in your
mirror
ear?
in front of James,
Yeah,
and he
mind
hasn't
you,
noticed it yet.
I've already looked in the mirror, but I'm just kind of out of it. And
You just
I
thought it was normal.
Yeah, I just stopped and I looked
Like,
back.
oh
and
man,
it-
these face tats were a good idea.
Yeah, it was shocking. I'm blushing now.
And it was not it's not marker that washed off easily.
no. Matter of fact,
We
it's
scrubbed and scrubbed.
stayed with me for a couple days.
Might have tied one on that night. All of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a wild one.
It was a fun time though. We have a great time at the Harvey compound.
Yeah, I
usually.
love it out
Yeah.
there, man.
Yeah.
Let's go
Yeah.
out there right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we should
Headed
do
that way.
Well, guys, I think that's about it. Jason, what's
Oh, I was just gonna go to animal fats after this.
Animal fat.
Yeah,
Animal fat?
Yeah, like you ever no animal fights.
Oh,
You ever think of
fights.
like two species of animals that you would like to see fight each
Yeah, I
other?
watch that all the
You
time.
guys get into that? Like a bear and a silverback. Or
National
something?
Geo's got a
Fight.
show.
Oh, animal fights.
Yeah, animal fights, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Like I want to see like a silverback gorilla versus like a grizzly.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
what do you who do you think would win? that?
Grizzly all day.
Really?
Yeah.
Silverbacks are a little smarter though, right?
Well, maybe, but
They don't have the weapons.
they don't have the weapons.
They don't have the hardware that.
I don't think they have the
do.
strength either.
Silverback.
Stamina, maybe.
Grizzly,
It might-
man,
it might
like
be
a big
stamina.
grizzly.
Did you see the picture or the video of when the grizzly is fighting the moose, and the moose is holding its own, and then the grizzly just slaps it.
Just decides that
And
it's over.
It's over, and he breaks his neck with a slap. Like I've been slapped like that, and I was like, I feel you. You know,
I don't want to dismiss the silverback because I think intelligence probably. I think he has
They're
the edge
stronger than
there. I
100
think
men.
agility. He probably has it. Quickness, speed.
I wouldn't say speed. I think
they're kinda-
I would like to Google it if my phone worked better.
Straight
right
line
now.
speed is
I
what you're
think
talking about. Yeah.
Grizzly speed is almost like
Probably so.
car worthy.
Yeah, I think they
those
run
guys
as fast
could-
as like a racehorse, right?
Dude, they're-
in short
they're-
bursts.
do you know a croc or an alligator can outrun a quarter horse in the first
Really?
like 200 yards?
That makes sense.
That's
Speaking of which, I
horrifying.
talked to
Terrifies
Sponge the other
me.
day about his alligator experience.
Yeah.
We need to talk about this. Is important stuff.
Sorry, I was about to end the
down,
podcast,
No,
dude. I want to
no,
stop
I'm
this.
sorry.
That doesn't
I-
shock me one bit.
Sponge was up on the square the other day, and he talked about somebody
Sent the
came
picture.
in. Somebody came in the
Tagged us.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, he did. He somebody came in the blue bonnet.
When we say
And asked-
sponge, we're talking about Kevin Moore, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said this guy had a pond where he's got 5 or 6 gators, and he needed to move them.
Kevin's
And
like, I'll wrestle
Wait,
him.
dude.
Wait, he basically said, Kevin, would you do this? And he was like, yeah. Well, the guy went on about his way, and then ended up calling back and said, hey, is that Kevin up there? And sure enough, Kevin picked up the phone and he said, hey, I've got these gators. I need
Where
to
do you go
move.
with these
you wanna come
gators?"
help me? And he goes, yeah. I was like, all right, you psycho. So he goes out to this guy's place apparently, and they have a couple gators they need moving. I think he said it was 6 foot tall, 6 foot long anyway. 160 pounds, whatever a big gator like that is, about the size of Kevin himself.
Yeah, yeah.
But he said that the trick is to just tire him out before, and that's the whole thing. So he would tap on either side of his head for a
Make him
long
move.
time, make him move. He'd move back and forth, and basically by the time he doesn't start moving it, whatever you're tapping is about the time you can go
Jump
in
on
and
him.
jump on him.
I feel like that's something
And
you
that's
need
how
to
they do
see
it.
somebody's gator moving resume before you ask them to help.
Yeah.
Like, but Kevin's
Yeah,
just like, yeah, I'm gonna move these
Yeah,
gators.
I'm not just gonna go with anybody and go gator
That's one of my
hunting
bucket
or
list things,
wrestling.
man. I want to wrestle a gator.
I
It looks
was-
like
you
something I
wanna do
really
that?
wanted.
You
Yes,
want to
I
do that?
absolutely want to do that.
I don't. They're
No.
like,
Yeah,
they're like
I don't want to
snakes with legs.
skydive or anything. I want to wrestle a gator.
All
I
right.
really do.
Really?
Yes, yes.
No.
I have
Put
no
your
desire to
chin
jump
under
out
its
of a
chin and
plane.
all
I
that?
want to wrestle a gator.
No,
That's
I'm
bizarre.
not jumping out of a plane. He jumped out of a plane. Though.
I've
I've done
got
it.
7 free falls
3 of us.
individually, like without instructors on the back.
See, and that was the thing. I've only jumped out of a plane one time,
Yep.
and my biggest like.
How did they start the plane, bud?
Okay, well, I'll get to that in a
Yeah,
second.
let's do this.
My biggest thing was like I wanted to jump solo,
Yeah,
and I know like there's a lot more fear and adrenaline involved in that, especially your first time.
yeah. Well, the first
but-
time you pack your chute is the one where that really kicks
So
in.
yeah, I did not want to pack my chute, but this place I went to is funny because I was broke and
Sure.
I was looking for a good time.
Yeah.
Discount-
Sounds like a
discount
I was
great.
looking
skydiving
for
is
a
what you
cheap
don't
good
do.
time.
Yeah.
That's
So
like
we-
the example.
That's like
Discount-
Mexican bungee jumping.
These people told us to be there like 9:30, so we show up at 9:15. That's my style. I'm like, I'll show up just a little bit early just to make sure I'm there. Right? They didn't show up till like 12. Okay, the people that run this just skydiving.
They're
this skydiving.
hungover.
Red flag number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
pros.
They're
they
snorting lines in the
they-
bathroom.
yeah.
Like, you're like, oh my gosh.
So they show up 2 hours late, and not only did the gas for their plane was in about 30 3-gallon tanks in the hangar.
Bro,
They
we got to
pulled
have a
the-
talk about
like
your
lawnmower
decision-making
gas
skills.
They pulled the plane out, couldn't start it, so they had to jump it with a car.
Oh no.
What kind of car?
It was like an old Buick or something like that.
The Lona.
Yeah,
It was
the
Crown Vic with the 3 guys dressed
Yeah.
like Beastie
A
Boys.
78 Mercury Zephyr.
The girl packing our chutes was drinking Coors Light. And I was of the mindset of like, I need to do that too. Not
At that point,
obviously.
yeah.
not
Obviously.
thinking that. But then I
Pack
didn't
the
have,
chutes or drink
they didn't-
Coors Light.
They didn't tell me one thing about the whole jump experience until about 10 minutes before we got on the plane. They said, okay, here's the deal. You're just going to strap it to this person and do what we tell you to do.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, fair enough. They pack 8 people onto a 2-passenger plane.
Like a little
It had-
Cessna
it
150.
had 2 seats in it and room to literally just sardine
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
into. And what we got it. I wasn't freaking out at all. I was.
Butts
I
to
still wasn't
nuts.
worried. Between the showing up late, having to jump the plane with a car, all the weird gas cans to fill the plane fill the plane up.
The lady drinking pack and shoots and
All of that stuff didn't worry me until I was up in the air, and I was the last one to get on the plane to jump out, so I'll be the first one to jump out. And whenever I was told I had to turn around because I was about to strap up to my instructor, I was afraid that the plane was so janky that I was afraid that I was going to turn around. I think this thing was held together with a clothes hanger, the door, and I was afraid I was going to turn around, accidentally hit this door, and just get sucked out of the plane. That was probably the scariest moment. But then when they opened that door up and I was the first one sitting on the edge, the vertigo set in because I just saw this thing, and fear didn't set in. It was more of excitement. Yeah. But that was fun, man. I want to do it again. I want to do it solo. I still want to go again. There was one guy
maybe with a more reputable company this time.
100%. I will never go discount skydiving.
You know, that's funny because one of our future shows is going to be at the skydive place up in Whitewright.
Dallas Skydive.
They just don't know it yet.
That was not.
I'll be on the ground.
I'll tell you right now.
You don't
we're
know
going
it
to
yet.
interview the dive master or whatever it is.
I'll be on the ground with an
know it yet,
alligator.
but we're going to interview him and hopefully go out there for like a field day.
So
if y'all are around and want to go,
hey, I want to go.
That'd be an awesome time.
Yeah, man.
Open invite there.
We'll do 12 o'clock siren and Whiskey Myers go skydiving.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Hey.
You know?
Yeah. With Jason on the ground.
My first.
Tony.
Jason on the ground with a bunch of alligators.
Full and TK on the ground.
Wrestling alligators.
With the alligator. I'll gladly hold an alligator while
I'll tell you
y'all
what,
skydive.
Jason. You wrestle an alligator, I'll jump out of a plane.
Dude, I want to wrestle an alligator too.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
My first skydiving.
Matthew and Jamie can wrestle alligators.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Jump out of a plane.
First skydive experience was in Moss Point, Mississippi, down on the coast, and I was fine until we got in the plane and we were headed up to altitude. I started getting a little bit of butterflies and anxiety, and then when they opened the door and people started bailing out, we were the last ones on. So all the solo jumpers went out. And I was tandem at the time. It was my first.
And
jump.
they do it like it's so much fun, like it's just
Everybody's like
jumping off a
BSing,
curb onto the street,
doing cool little handshakes, you know. And they're like, yeah.
What tricks are you gonna do?
Like little chicks with like pixie cuts,
little front back to chesty.
Yeah, and I'm here just like a large man but terrified. Anyway, that door goes up. They start bailing out, and I was kind of like, oh, here we go. We got to the door, and I thought, I don't know that I want to do this. And by the time I had that thought, we were out. And once we were out, it was good.
It's great.
How big was your tandem guy?
He was not a large man,
really?
Honestly. Yeah. I was a lot taller.
I feel like you need to be like proportionate.
Yeah, so I did that once, and then I did it all solo after that.
That's what. So the first time I went jumping, there was one guy with this. So it was his first time jumping too, but he was big. He was bigger than you are.
Yeah.
And he could. There was no tandem instructor to
Yeah.
I can't land with you,
right?
Know? So he had to pay.
They were drinking Coors Light.
Regardless of what they were drinking, nobody could hold this guy like tandem, and he had to go take an extra course, which cost him like $800 or something like that.
Yeah, to do the ground school.
You
got
got
to
to do like a long class and stuff
I had
like
to do
that.
like 6 hours that morning,
and I was jealous of him, but. The thing was, he jumped out and did like. Here was my thing: when we were up there and we jumped out, I was like, "Man, I could do all of this. I don't know where I'm supposed to land."
Yeah, that's the most stressful part,
especially
for me.
out like in the area we were jumping. It was just a lot of land. People own different land, and like I couldn't tell the difference in this land and this land. It was all the same. So when they jumped out, he actually he landed in another property and almost landed on a barbed wire fence because he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah,
which scares me, but I still. To this day, would take that risk of jumping solo.
Well, but here's the deal. When I started going solo, they gave you helmets with radios, and there'd be a guy on the ground, and he's like, left turn.
Oh, that's
and you do
genius.
That. And he's like, left turn, roll out, left
I guarantee
turn.
this discount skydiving.
You did not have
that. No. But yeah, man, it's fun. We'd like to do some content like that.
Yeah.
You know, get it on the YouTube channel, do some stuff.
It's on the horizon.
It's on the horizon.
We've discussed it. We've kicked it around.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, if y'all want to come out to like a next whiskey show, y'all can come out to. We'll do like a on location.
We should do the Missoula one.
Well,
we should
come
do it in Missoula.
Come on, that's a good. I won't have any guests. I promise.
Dude, let's do that.
Don't give me Montana.
I love Montana.
Last time I was in Montana.
You've been to Montana?
Like 3 weeks.
I've
right?
been once. Yeah.
Been to Montana 5 times.
You have?
Been to Billings.
Fort William Henry Harrison out north of Helena, Montana. I spent a lot of time.
No
with the
sales
19
tax, boy, gets me spun up.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah,
First time I shot a
I bought
50
a
caliber
jacket there.
was
I
at
bought the most
Montana.
sick pair of Nike Air Maxes at a Ross Dress for Less in Billings, Montana. one time.
Is Billings the cool airport?
Yeah,
On
flying
the
on the
plateau?
ridge.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's cool.
Yep.
I did airfield surveys in Billings, Bozeman, Ketchum, Idaho, and Battle Mountain, Nevada.
Missoula's university college town, right? I assume
Yeah.
Missoula.
Yeah. There's a college in Helena, too. It's like the state school or whatever.
Yeah. Y'all are probably pretty heavy with the college folks in that show in particular, I would assume.
I would think so at Missoula.
College heavy.
Yeah. What else are they going to do? Go enjoy the scenery? Oh,
Go to the
could
Whiskey
watch
Myers show.
Yellowstone.
that's right. Yeah, watch Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Scoff at it. You know?
That's not my.
That's
That's not
inaccurate.
Yellowstone.
This is
That's
inaccurate.
Utah.
Yeah.
That's Utah.
Looks like Utah. It looks like
Oh.
Provo.
Is that did y'all shoot in the Wasatch Mountains in Utah? I like that.
I think we were right outside of Utah. Right outside of Salt Lake.
Park City maybe.
There is a battle going on between Jamie and Tony.
I've
right
enjoyed it the whole time, both episodes actually.
Tony's literally
Jamie's
his
a
seat
natural,
his
dude.
seat is
His seat
like
is-
2 feet away from the table, and then he's leaning back in his seat
And
trying to talk.
he couldn't eat. If we were having a meal, he couldn't eat as far away as he
now.
is.
Jamie is a natural.
Yeah, I
at
know.
podcasting.
He's going to own a podcast
Yeah.
here shortly.
This,
Yeah.
funny
this is in your near future, dude.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
I think you have a bunk.
I wanna
the-
come on your
the
show.
Bus, I guess.
Yeah,
When you have one.
You're gonna have a podcast bunk.
Oh no! Well, so I mean, I don't want to divulge too much information, but we were talking about like a back lounge,
Yeah.
like a back lounge podcast.
Sure.
But we're working on we got some ideas. We'll
Cool.
work on some stuff.
We've discussed like a late night, like non-affiliated podcast where we do say dirty words
Yeah.
and we tell like old stories of things, and people that we know don't listen to it.
Yeah.
If you ever
We've
need
talked
us,
about that one.
12 o'clock siren for an interview, we're more than
Yeah,
welcome.
we want to come on the
More than
Jamali
happy.
show.
Yeah.
More than
Hey,
happy.
come on,
Yeah.
come on! I love how y'all picked that up right away. I only had to say it one
Yeah,
time.
that's it. That's it.
Jamali and TK kind of rolls off the tongue.
It really does.
I'll come on that show.
I might just change the name of what we were talking about. Jamali and TK.
I can't wait to see it.
We
Hear it.
appreciate y'all's time, man. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude,
we'll
I've had a
see you in
blast.
Missoula.
I don't really want to go. You guys got to
I
go home
know.
and go to bed.
We
Me
should
and
do,
Tony
like,
are just gonna
10
go
more
back to the
shows.
house and
Yeah.
watch some more TV or jam or
Whenever y'all have time, you're welcome to stop in.
Anytime.
Cool.
Yeah.
We've really appreciated having you.
Hey, I want to play y'all's vinyl machine. Like maybe we play some ping pong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, dude.
We can do that.
You know what I
So-
want?
What's that?
Some Dallas.